Let's get ready to rumble.
Here we go, episode 75 of the Hibs Ramble. We are back. I was on the one after New Year. This is the first time Liam's been on after the New Year. Just myself and Liam tonight. How are you, mate?
Very well, mate. It's good to be back on. It's the first time I've been on ages and ages and ages and ages and ages. So it's good to be back on after another Hibs defeat.
Aye, it's getting quite enjoyable at the minute, eh? Obviously, Sean and Mark aren't with us. Mark's held up at work, I think, and Sean is currently going through the process of moving home. But I'm sure as results pick up, they'll be back, because that's what always happens. Like when Hibs are doing well, Easter Road's busy. When we're not doing well, it's fucking half empty. Usually when we come on, whoever's hosting, might be me, Liam or Sean or whatever, we'll do like an agenda where we're going to speak about stuff. But tonight, we're just going to go meat and bones of anything we want, because I think there's quite a lot to unpackage. And for the two of us, I think we need more than just the two of us to really proper analyse it, to give it different points. So we're going to start tonight with my pie review from Forfar.
Which pie is the best in the pie review? Which pie is the best in the pie review?
Because I feel like we need to go into the episode with an uplift.
Positively.
Yeah. So Liam, remind me of the criteria. It's price, crust, filling,
Price, crust, filling, uniqueness,
temperature.
and temperature.
Yeah.
Giving you a total score of 25.
Yeah. I'm happy to say, right? I am very, very happy to say that my Forfar pie receives a 25 out of 25.
Oh, I don't believe it for a second after I had their Brady's. Brady was absolutely pish.
I'm telling you, right? This pie is the best pie I've ever had at the football. Let's start off with the price. £2. Sensational.
That's a working man's price.
Usually you're upwards of £3.20 for a pie at games. £2. Uniqueness. It was sourced from the local butcher / baker, so keeping it right in the community. They could probably do it up in the price of the pies to deal with the bog that's no Scotch.
Oh,
And Scotch. They could probably do invest in maybe putting the prices of pies up and dealing with that fucking bog that exists behind the ground. Because Man U trainers were filthy, might I add, absolutely filthy.
Well, that's just a rookie error, isn't it? When you're going to these places in the back and beyond.
Temperature, perfect. One bite, and it's not roasting, it's not cold. You're not doing that.
Aye.
Like I did at Easter Road last night when I took a bite of my pie there. Again, that you wouldn't feed that to the dog, as I've already told you. The temperature was perfect. The crust on the outside was nice and crispy. The lid wasn't just soft enough, but not soft enough that it became soggy. There was no grease, absolutely zero grease came out this pie either, by the way. Not one bit. And then the filling, just a top-notch sort of spiced, minced, whatever is inside it. But yeah, 25 out of 25. It was absolutely sensational. And as I said after the game, when I tweeted Forfar directly to show my thanks for the delicious pies.
Did they reply?
No. What I would say though is so I don't think tonight we're going to go into too much about the investment, because I would rather wait until that's done and then we can proper have a good chat about it and see where we can go with it. But if at some point Hibs were to go tits up, right, and we had to do a Rangers, I wouldn't complain if that's the fairest scran that we're getting on our travels. Just saying.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but you didn't get the Brady. I wonder if the Brady film was the same as the Scotch pie though, because it was kind of like a Scotch pie-esque.
Is Brady's not more oniony though?
It's good in my one, but like the pastry in that, it just fell apart. It was horrible. It wasn't horrible, but like it was just like everyone was bigging up these four for Brady's. I mean, their mascot was a fucking Brady. And the Brady was it was below par, and I was disappointed, to be honest, Craig.
Is a Brady not like more oniony?
See, I don't know, because my dad went to the pie stall to get them, so I don't know if there was more options than just the four for Brady, but it wasn't very oniony. It was like a Scotch pie inside. I mean, it was all right, but I mean, I was expecting to blow me out the park like the Brady's at Pars, but wasn't to be, mate. Wasn't to be.
It was that good. I went back and got another one.
Of course you did. Got to keep yourself in shape, mate.
Yeah, but I don't do that unless I feel it's deserved, and I felt like giving them an extra two of my pounds was very much warranted. So
Yeah.
aye. Right. Just I don't know really where to start. I suppose just to kind of maybe get your thoughts then on where you think we are right now. Obviously, so we've came off the back of a pretty shite end to the year with the loss to Hearts, and then the draw with Motherwell at Easter Road. Obviously, the team went away to Dubai during the winter break, which we won't get next year as well, because of the European change to the European leagues running actually into like sort of late January. Saturday's performance was below par. To probably be nice about it, below par. And then last night, I just kind of want to get your thoughts on where you think we are at the minute, because there's a lot of stuff flying about social media and whatnot. I've been quite vocal with certain things as well. But what would you call it? Would you class it a State of the Union address? What's your summarisation of where we are just now?
I think the bottom line is, mate, we're struggling, really. We're struggling for form. We're kind of, every time we are making one step forward, we're taking two steps back, kind of tripping ourselves up. Every time we're starting to get a little bit of momentum, it's frustrating to watch. And especially, it's frustrating to watch because the quality of players that we've got. From back to front, we've not got a bad team at all. You look at this team compared to the squads for the remainder of the division, and you would say out with the old firm, we're definitely up there, in the one or the two for
attacking wise anyway, like a front attacking option certainly.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's just not paying off for us at the moment. I think Nick Montgomery's eagerness to play 4-4-2 is sometimes shooting us in the foot a little bit. I think we do have the players to switch up the system, switch up the formation. But if we can see it, then surely he can as well. But there must be a logic to his madness at the moment, because it just looks like he's trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, and we're getting the same results. And at the end of the day, it's kind of alienating the fans a little bit. The fans are getting frustrated with the players. Even the players that we've brought in January. Maulida got an absolute earful on Twitter last night. I didn't think was completely warranted. The boys hardly played this season, moving to a new country and stuff. So, listen, we're struggling, but the signs are there that we can turn it around. Like I fully believe that we can turn it around. It's maybe a little bit too far going to think about. Definitely too far going to think about a third, but even maybe a little bit too far going to think about a fourth. I think what we need to do is just get ourselves into that top six, keep ourselves there, and hopefully, as the season comes to a close, we can start to push for those European spots. But we got to get ourselves there first.
No, I think one thing that you've just said there that's important to touch on is that Kanayo Megwa was forced, well, it wasn't forced, but clearly he was taking some level of abuse last night to delete his Twitter account. By all means, have an opinion, you're very much entitled to an opinion. As soon as it strays over into the world of abuse, that's too far, especially at a 19-year-old laddie making his first competitive start. I know we've kind of championed Kanayo Megwa since we've seen him. Obviously, we had Josh O'Connor and Ethan Laidlaw, and when we spoke to Lewis Miller as well, when we asked all of them, who do you think's most likely to make it? They all said that Kanayo was. So it's clear that the laddie's got ability. It's clear that he's well liked, and the fact that he's had to delete his Twitter account because of the level of abuse that he's getting is like nothing short of disgraceful.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really poor last night. I mean, Megwa, I didn't think he had a terrific game by any stretch of the imagination.
They had a shaky first 15 to 20, like admittedly. But that Matondo's probably one of the fastest players in the league.
I mean, he definitely is. He ran Kanayo Megwa ragged. And, I think people who were expecting Kanayo Megwa to come in and be the second coming of Cafu are cheating nobody but themselves, because that's not what happens at teams like Hibs. It's not what happens at any team. No young player comes in perfectly rounded and ready to jump straight in and be perfect. So, Kanayo's got a lot of learning to do, but I think that there's a really good foundation there for him to then crack on and become a really, really good player, an important player for us. But if I was him right now, the amount of stick that he took on Twitter last night, I don't think I'd even bother. I think I'd just give it up.
Yeah, it's especially for a 19-year-old laddie as well.
Exactly, you're coming in. You've had a somewhat successful spell at Airdrie. In the first half of the season, your confidence is at high. You're starting against Rangers at home.
Yeah,
a big crowd under the lights. You make a couple of mistakes and you're absolutely hounded on Twitter. And it's, I mean, yeah, people are entitled to their opinion, and you can say, yeah, this player didn't have a great game, that player could have done a little bit better. But like you said, as soon as it starts to verge on the side of abusing, it's why? What is it? Is it helping you deal with the defeat by firing abuse to young laddies on Twitter? I don't know, mate. It's beyond me.
It's the sort of entitlement of people these days, though. They think that with the use of social media, they can just hide behind a screen and say what they want, and there'll not be any consequences.
I think, and because people pay and they're like, oh, if I pay, I'm entitled to my opinion. I mean, I'm absolutely behind that. If you pay, you're entitled to your opinion. If you don't pay, you're still entitled to your opinion. But don't abuse the players. If you've got things to say that are negative, I mean, you can say them, but say it in a constructive way. Don't completely berate the players, because the thing that annoys me, and it's annoyed me for years, is the negativity, and it's not just Hibs fans. It's every club.
Yeah, we should be very clear on that. I think we speak about negativity Hibs fans because that's what we see. We follow Hibs fans on Twitter, so that's what we see the most. But we've got no doubt that Hearts, Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, etc., when they go through sticky spells, that
absolutely. And you've seen when like if Hearts or Aberdeen are on a sticky period, and they put their full-time result up if they've lost. You go in the comments and it's all Naismith out, Robson out, all the rest of it, and every club does it, but just fucking rein it in a bit, lads. Like it's not going to help the players.
Yeah,
looking at that isn't going to make them go, oh, fuck, I'm going to try even harder. They're going to think, what am I doing?
Yep.
Who's this guy? With Darwin Nunez as his profile picture, telling me that I'm fucking shite. Like, who are you? I mean, it really, really grinds my gears. And I think back in the day, I was one of them who would blindly abuse players and stuff. And then, as I got a bit older, I just realized, I was like, it's not going to help. we shouting it in the stadium, telling a player he's shite, like, to his face. Just because you pay to get in doesn't mean that you really should be doing that.
Yeah, like I said earlier on, I think it's more of a sort of societal issue though. Especially when it comes to things like Montgomery. I think those that listen to us know that we probably championed Lee Johnson for longer than we should have last season. More out of, I don't know if you could call it blind faith, more out of just not wanting to go through the whole rigmarole of sacking another manager, bringing someone else in, waiting for them to come good. There's just talk about, wait till Montgomery gets his players in, wait till we do this, wait till we do that. And the problem that we've got is in football, as it comes in life nowadays, is that there's no patience for anything. If you want to, 30 years ago, if you wanted a new sofa, you would have to save up for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to go on holiday, you have to save up for it. If you wanted to know what was going on, you had to wait until you get the papers the following day to read the sport, or there was times where you couldn't even know the football scores until the following day.
Exactly.
Whereas now, with social media, the way that the world works, everything evolves, you can get information at a click of a finger. And I think that ties into patience with a lot of things, and football being one of them. I'm just quite keen to know what you feel on Montgomery as a whole, because that for me last night was a tough watch.
It was
a very tough watch, and I was sitting in the East Stand last night, and I kind of flip flop between is it the way we're setting up, or is it the players that are within the setup? Because I refuse to believe, right, that either the manager or the players themselves think the best thing to do with Rangers, and this goes for any team that we play, by the way, because we don't change depending on who we play. I refuse to believe that the best, especially against those teams that have got better players than us, I refuse to believe the game plan is, do you know what, let them have the ball.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And again, you come back to the team selection and stuff, and I don't know. I really don't know what he's thinking about. We know Rangers play a 3, and we know Rangers' middle 3 is very strong. Raskan, Lundstrom, and who else was playing? Was it Cantwell that was playing last night? So, I mean, that is, I mean, even including Celtic, one of the best midfields, that we've seen in a long time in this division. So it's a great midfield. We'd kill to have players like Raskan and maybe not Cantwell because they're prick, but Raskan and the other fella,
Lundstrom.
So, because I would imagine, right, Nick Montgomery's been watching clips on Rangers all week. He'll know they'll play a 3, and he still goes with a 2, and he goes with arguably, the least defensive 2 that he could pick out of who was available.
Yeah.
And I think if you're playing a 3 in there, if you're playing against a 3 in there, you've got to have someone who's no afraid to fly into a tackle. You've got to have your Jimmy Jegos, your Marvin Bartleys, your Mark Milligans in there as one of the 2. Ideally, you make it a 3, and you have that 6 sitting that allows then Levitt and Newell to play. But because Levitt and Newell have no protection from that 6, they can't play. They can't then move forward. And I've seen you tweeting about Joe Newell. Don't think he had a great game at all, but it's not helped by this system. Joe needs to play a little bit further forward. He's an 8. He's not a 6.
Yeah.
He can't do that job effectively. We tried watching it for years, and it never worked. So we need to figure out how to fit 3 men into a 2-man midfield, because it's just it's beyond a joke now, and everyone can see it. And I'm sure Nick Montgomery can see it, but why isn't he changing it? that's the difficult thing. And I mean, if the players are buying into it, then great. Hopefully it'll come round. But for me, if it was me in charge, I'd be having a 3 in there. I think Jimmy Jeggo, the way that our squad is looking at the moment, I mean, obviously it looks a lot like
Jeggo's
Jimmy going away back to Australia. So hopefully Luke Amos is going to come in and fill that void. Don't know if he's an attacking or defensive midfielder. I'm not too sure what one he is, but we need someone in there who can sit and tidy up in front of the back four. It's just we're so exposed in every area of the park. It's like we're playing a man down every time because of the shape we're playing. It's really, really annoying to watch.
Yeah, I seen it last night. Someone said that we're set up to be a counter-attacking team, but actually play like a possession-based team. Because when there was periods during the game last night where the goal kick, like we're taking the same goal kick every time, and teams just know. All Rangers done last night was just put Fabio Silva on the edge of the box and then McCausland and Matondo at the other sides.
Yeah.
To just let it go. Right, if you got the fullback, I'm pressing him. But then what happens is that Newell and Levitt both drop to the edge of the 18-yard box. So you've got 7 players in that space in the park. And then you've got the other 4, Jair, Venti, Malida, and Eliuan, just like on the halfway line.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. I really, unless I'm missing something, like I said, if this is the way the man, I'm like, to be frank about it, if this is the way that Montgomery wants to play, he's not going to last. Regardless of whether we want him to or not, playing this way will not last, because the longer we're playing like this, the worse we're getting. And people are really, from what I've seen, have started to the turn's already starting.
Yeah.
And as soon as that, we've seen it with Johnson. Remember the Livingston game? As soon as that second or the third goal went in, the whole East stand at once started screaming about Johnson to get to fuck. And I don't want that for Montgomery, because I actually think Montgomery's a good guy. He's, I don't think he's maybe the best when he talks to the press. But he's not a dick. He's never once talked down the league, the team, the opposition, anything. He's never shown any levels of sort of disrespect or thinking like Johnson did with ideas above his stations. But if he wants to persist with this system,
he's got to have a plan B. I mean, if you want to champion the 4-4-2, if that's your, philosophy and style gets chucked about all too often for my liking. I mean, we don't have a style. We don't have a philosophy. Our style is giving away stupid goals. Our style is, not being hard enough in the middle of the park. But if he wants to stick to this 4-4-2, then great. You've got to get it right though. And if it doesn't come off, if it's not right, then it's got to change, either before a game or during a game. There's, what do you expect? Playing the same players in the same shape and expecting different results. It's beyond me. And like you said, I'm desperate for Montgomery to succeed. I really am. After Sean's after Sean's chat about him when he was linked with the job, I was fully on the Monty train, and it's just a shame that it's not kind of worked out the way that we'd hoped so far. But I hate to do this and compare him to other managers, and I know that we're not going to win the Champions League or anything like that. But compare it to Jurgen Klopp. Liverpool give Jurgen Klopp time. He doesn't win a trophy in the first few years, and then he goes and wins the Champions League, then the Premier League, then the FA Cup, then the League Cup, and there wasn't overnight success. There was an overnight success for Ange Postecoglou. There was an overnight success for many managers who are doing really, really well. So what gives us the right to expect overnight success at Hibs? A team that's got far less pulling power, far less financial power than any of those teams that I've mentioned. What gives us the right to expect that?
This is what I mean. This is about the societal issue. It's thinking that we should because it's a because we should.
Mhm.
If you actually sit and ask any Hibs fan to say, right, if I say to you, right, Liam, we should be finishing third every year,
Yeah.
and you go to me and you were to go to me, well,
Back that
why?
up because
I would just say, well, because we've got a big ground, so have Aberdeen and Hearts. Oh,
Mhm.
we've got record turnover, so have Aberdeen and Hearts. We've got 12k plus season tickets. Do you know what I mean? So have Aberdeen. Like, there's no we done it. I can't remember if we done it on here, but or was it maybe in the group chat? I actually went back the last like maybe 40 years, 50 years, and we finished in the top four. Maybe what
like 5 or 6 times, it's like a handful of
something
times.
like that. We finished third 3 times since the turn of the century. Yet there's an expectation that we should we be doing better than aiming for fifth every year? Of course we should,
Mhm.
because I
I get
genuinely
that
believe that
when the
between
season usually, and we've kind of gone on a bit of a poor run, and then on a cold light of day, the fifth is probably the best that we can ask for at times.
I mean,
I mean,
you can put a pube between us, Aberdeen and Hearts, right? I know there's talk about fucking trophies and all that, but I'm not caring what clubs won in the fucking 1800s or the 1920s or before the fucking invention of the telephone and that, right? That to me, that's fucking irrelevant. When you
what
look at
happened in
it,
the last 10 years really that's relevant, and like you said, there is nothing between us and Hearts and Aberdeen apart from the fact that they've got a wee bit more bottle about them, and
yeah,
they've played in European group stages, and we haven't.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's all semantics. I think if you drill it down to what actually matters in terms of how you justify something as big or not. Kim, when you look at the grounds, like I said, we're all relatively similar. I think Aberdeen's is the biggest, by about 500 seats. We've got about maybe 700 or 800 more seats than Hearts. I think the only main difference between us and Hearts at this present moment, because I don't want this being clipped, is they have a larger hardcore following at present because of what they went through with Romanov. Because they had to literally put their hand in their pocket to make sure the club survived. I think at present,
because of that though, because you look at when they've been going through sticky patches, it's the same as any team, mate. I'm no here to go, oh, Hearts fans didn't follow their team when they're getting beat. Hibs fans didn't follow their team when they're getting beat. The
as you can see for last night,
the only two that turn up in numbers, and because there is a lot more of them, is the Old Firm.
yeah,
And at any point, if your team's getting beat, the attendances are going to suffer, and that is part and parcel of the game. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But I mean, fuck, there is nothing to choose. I mean, even squad wise.
yeah. I mean, you take Shankland out that Hearts team, and it's glaring. Like it really is.
Is it though?
Yeah, because he's if you take him out that Hearts team, the next highest goal scorer is on like 3 or 4. Like
I mean,
I know there's a lot of
Shankland.
there's a lot of patter about Shankland at the minute, and I think we were very biased last season with the fact that we had Nisbet. But I mean, cards on the table that Shankland's a very good striker for this level.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Just like Miofsky is a very good striker for this level. And my issue with teams like that is that, and I suppose this plays into the way the game sort of unfolded last night, is that, like, see, I don't care about getting beat 3-0 for Rangers, right? Realistically, with the budget that they've got, them and Celtic, they should be turning all of us over 3-4, 5-0 every week. They should.
Aye.
Obviously, that's not how football works. Football's not played on paper, it's played on grass. But more often than not, they're going to win because they've got vastly superior resources. That means they can attract vastly superior players. They had a boy starting up front last night for 35 million a couple of years ago. And I even made the comment to my mate I was at the game with as well, and that See, whenever I've seen Fabio Silva, and this is the difference in levels, whenever I've seen him in the Premier League, I've thought, he looks slow.
Mm.
He doesn't look like he can move. Last night, he
yeah.
looked fucking quick. My issue with results like last night is not the fact that we get beat, it's the manner in the way that we got beat.
If we go down fighting, fair enough.
Yeah,
But
that's my
fighting.
That's
Had
my
a couple of
point.
really good opportunities. I mean, the LUN opportunity in the first half, first couple of minutes, is a great opportunity. I think McCausland does really well to kind of force him out wide a little bit more and make him take the shot from a little bit more of an acute angle. So, I mean, don't think there was an awful lot that he could have done about it because Venti and Molida weren't up there with him. So it's not like he could have cut it back. The only option was him trying to fire it across goal, which I think was the right option. Didn't quite come off good save from Jack Butland, but listen, we had a lot of half decent opportunities last night. Whether we're 1-0 down, 2-0 down, 3-0 down, doesn't matter. You've got to put them away. And if you don't put your chances away, regardless of who you're playing, then you're not going to do very well, mate. That's the bottom line. It's frustrating to watch. You look at the quality of player that we've brought in, not even just in this window, but I feel like the quality and the what am I trying to say? The caliber of player that we've brought in, probably since the summer, has been higher than what it has been for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And we've looked arguably, at the worst point that we've been in a long, long time. So, what fixes that?
Yeah, and that's the issue for me, is that as much like with Johnson as well, like if we go a goal down last night, like there's games where, when you look back at last season, the 4-2 against Celtic, 6-0 against Aberdeen, 4-1 at home, 4-0 at home to Livy, 4-1 away to Livy.
We had a bit of backbone.
The 3-2 away at Motherwell. Not a bit of backbone, but at least you knew there was got to be goals. Whereas right now we're no.
There's goals, but we're just going in the
Do you know what I mean? That like last night, and like I said, this is what I mean. I don't know if it's the system or the players, because it seems like everything. There was the one proper good passage of play I think we had was right at the start of the second half when Megwa played it down the line for Ellie, and he faced up Ridvan and just took him on. But too often what happens is Ewan will get the ball and he'll turn back inside. The ball will go to Levitt and Levitt will take a touch, and then a touch, and then a touch, and then a touch, and then a touch. And then he's taking 5 or 6, 7 touches before he's releasing the ball.
Aye, so and that annoys me, to be honest.
We're creating nothing in the way of
urgency.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to say it. There's no urgency. There's no desires. Desire's not the right word, but there's just no fucking there's no dig about our play, whether that be attacking or defending. There's no onus on us. At times it seems to, as soon as Marshall gets the ball and he's looking about, Ken, what, fuck it, there's Obita. Is he playing left centre half? Aye, but fuck it, go. Like, we're very happy to let other teams just go, and jog back into position, turn and face the ball, and I don't know. I don't get what the remedy is. Like you say, the calibre of player. I do think that in terms of the calibre of player we've brought in, I think Marcondes looks as if he's got a bit about him.
If we can
just in terms of even the way, had a few good touches when he came on. His presence almost seems to, he was very demanding of the teammates very early on. Amos, again, another one with a bit of calibre about him. He seems like he'll be a bit of a busy body in the middle, which is what we've said we need. We need somebody that's busy but good on the ball. Obviously, Malida comes with decent pedigree. We've got Boyle to come back
on 45 minutes, 60 minutes.
Admittedly, it wasn't great.
Wasn't great. No,
let's be honest. It was pretty poor. But
how many times have we seen
shite debuts that have went well? I know.
Not even just shite debuts, but good players have shite games.
Yeah.
So
it does happen.
to write him off after 60 minutes is, I think it's mental. But just to touch back on the point about urgency, Craig, surely Nick Montgomery isn't going through them in training and he's doing the shape and he's saying, right, we've got the ball now, move it forward. Jaden Ailey join the attack. That's a front four. Surely he's not then telling them, right, chop back and find Levitt. Chop back, find Newell. Surely he's telling them, move in, move in, move in.
Attack the space as well. Exactly, yeah.
You would think that that's what he's saying. So, what?
This is what I mean. This is where, for me,
does it stop them with the players, or does it stop with the manager?
Well, the thing is, he's changing the players in terms of who's playing, but nothing's changing in terms of how we're playing. Like Saturday, Doidge is up front. Last night, Venti's up front. There's no difference. I actually feel really sorry for Venti because
Venti is. I mean, there was a point in the last night where Venti was back at left back.
I do think there's a part there. I know there's a lot of folk that saying Venti's not good enough. This, that, and the next thing.
Venti's a very good finisher.
When you look at the goals, he scored early on in the tenure, the goal against Luzerne on his debut, he's in the 6-yard box. The goal against Kilmarnock, he's receiving the ball for a good touch for Lafondre, just inside the box. His goal against Kilmarnock, he turns inside the box. Was it St Mirren at Easter Road as well?
I think he was in the box.
Gets the ball on the penalty spot in the box. Like I think it's JD Hibs who puts up a lot of the kind of stuff. That Venti's averaging 1.1 shots per game or something. Shanklin, but by comparison, Shanklin is averaging 3.8 shots a game.
Lawrence Shanklin is a completely different player to Dylan Venti, though.
Yeah, Lawrence, but what Shanklin's, I mean is
happy to come deep, take it, and then move on. That's not Dylan Venti's game. Dylan Venti is take it on a half turn, wiggle yourself a wee bit of space in the box, and fire it home.
So my point on that is that this is from inside the box. So Venti's not even getting the ball in the box
because he's not there, because he's been forced to play so deep.
Yeah.
Because then whoever's playing up front with him is playing too high, and then the wingers are playing too high. So the only link then between the front three and the midfield too has got to be Venti, because who else is going to be? You're not going to see Jair come from the left hand side over to the to the central right area. You're not going to see Eli Yuan do it for the opposite side. It's a broken system, and if we had that extra player in, I think if we played a 4-3-3 of like even an inverted triangle or a triangle, it would help Venti so much to have that link behind him that he could stay forward and get the ball in those areas where he's dangerous and turn on the half turn and score more goals, and we'd win their fucking games. And if I can see it, then surely
this is the thing as well that I feel usually see when it comes to like managers and the way that teams are playing, right? You could get me and you in terms of something Hibs related, right? And I could tell you that the sky's blue and you'd call me an arsehole and say that I'm lying because it's actually green, right? That's the way football works, right? No one looks at football the same. What I'm finding with us at the minute is that by and large, we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all kind of singing off the same hymn sheet in terms of whether it be individual players, the system that we're playing, the players that we've got in certain positions within the system. We all seem to be very, very much so on the same hymn sheet, which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, it's a scary thing, the fact that we're all agreeing with each other, because it doesn't happen very often, to be honest, and obviously means that something is very wrong.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't get it, and like you say as well with them, with them on the training park, like what are we? Surely he's not telling them to stop and cut in and stop and do this and stop and do that. But on this flip side, like what metrics is he looking at for the analysts? Because I'm assuming that we'll get a breakdown of touches and areas in the park. You know, they're whatever Y Scout is times 100 for them, because they'll be able to break down fucking everything. What is it that Montgomery's getting in front of him that goes, nah, this is worth persisting with? Because for me, at this present moment in
It's
time,
not results, it's not performances. So is it? Well, I've said this before. I didn't want slamming the manager, slamming the players. It's not really my bag, to be honest, mate. But is it tactical naivety, or is it stubbornness?
yeah,
Or is it something else? But you know, tactical naivety, you probably wouldn't think so, given that he's come through the ranks at I was going to say civil service strollers there, no, Central Coast Mariners, you know, through the youth team into the first team and had success there.
yeah.
So you probably wouldn't say tactical naivety. I mean, especially given the side that he had at Central Coast wasn't, you know, in comparison to the big boys in that league, not anywhere near. Not anywhere near their level, and he had no right basically to go and win the grand final and did. So tactical naivety is maybe out the window.
But
Stubbornness.
surely the skills are transferable, and that if he can do it with, I know it's obviously a different level of player, but if you've got a higher caliber of player, surely it's easier to get that system to work and
This
make
is
it
it.
work even better. But I mean,
it's-
we're just for sort of context, right? We are by no means saying that we want Montgomery out.
No.
I'm fucking sick.
What does that change? Getting another manager out. I mean, he's been here since.
It changes. What happens is David Gray gets the job for 3-4 weeks, gets touted for it, gets turned down for it, and then we end up appointing fuck knows who.
Ian Murray.
Like Ian Murray, someone like a Rhys McCabe, something like that, who, granted, haven't done anything to really sort of deserve that step up to a Hibs job. McCabe might in time, he's only, what, 31, 32, something like that, he's still playing. But I think this is, like I said, but we're kind of just more get things off our chest rather than sort of analyse individual bits and pieces. When the four of us are back, we're going to do I think it's good for us to do a sort of proper deep dive episode on Bill Foley and what that means for us going forward.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it would be rude not to touch on it at the moment, but
Yeah.
you know, you can see that the Bill Foley effect. I mean, even if it's not been properly announced by Hibs or anyone, you can see that it's taken effect. You know, I don't think we would have got players like Molida or Ramos or.
We've got Marcondes for fuck all. Nout. Hibs
Yeah.
are paying nothing towards his salary or none.
I mean, we wouldn't have got players like that, you know, a year ago. So
and that's I suppose the plus point for me with Montgomery is that he said he wants players coming that are better than what's already in the door.
Which it looks. I mean,
on paper
that these players are. I mean, I think you need to get them all up to sharpness.
Yeah.
None of them have played, you know, in quite a while. So, you know, the rustiness is going to be there, of course. But, you know, Luke Amos, I don't know how much you knew about him before he came up the road, Craig. But I think he's a half decent wee player.
Being a Spurs kind of fan, like I've known of him for, like, coming through the youth system and that.
Played really well, and you know, a variety of QPR teams, some good and some, you know, poor.
Just injuries that done him down there.
Exactly, and it's a shame, but it's a chance for us to get a really good player on our books and have a good look at him, and you know, chances are if he does well, he'll move on and he'll kickstart his career back down south again probably. But you know, we've attracted this caliber of player, which we wouldn't have been able to do without, you know, Bill Foley's money. So if this is the start, then I think we are going to be in for one hell of a ride, and it's going to be really exciting being a Hibs fan and watching the players that we bring in. So, you know, just to keep a wee air of positivity about the place, and you know, I think that is a bright spot we can take, because when Marcondes came on last night, I thought he looked really good.
Yeah, there is. You can tell he's levels above. I think it's just This is probably something that the club needs as well, just to give it a bit of
a wee bit of a shake, and
a bit
that's
of shot in the arm. We don't need wholesale changes. We don't need fucking David Gray speaking to the press again, saying that he's taking the team for 3-4 weeks. I'm sick of us wanting, it seems, to write off seasons.
yeah.
Montgomery was brought in because of what he'd done at Central Coast Mariners. What he'd
And he
done at
had
the
time.
Mariners was over a sustained period of time.
Yeah.
Whether he gets given that luxury at Hibs remains to be seen, because, like I said, I feel that there's already small elements of the fan base turning, and once they start to turn,
They can't be
it's
brought back. It's
and
frustrating, but it's just the way that the game is nowadays, Craig, and that's.
yeah,
I mean, you know it yourself, when you've turned on a manager, you can't come back.
yeah, and that's why I think that we sort of blind faithfully done it with Johnson last year, when probably everything was staring us in the face to say, nah.
The thing is, I think with Johnson it was more, we don't want another managerial change.
Yeah.
We don't want to
That
go.
was the basis of our argument anyway, is that that it wasn't a case of why should we keep him.
It was
It was
why,
more a case of
what happens now
yeah,
if we get rid.
yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
Yeah, right. We'll move on to, listen, I know this has kind of been a bit of a mumbo jumbo one for anybody listening. If you've got anything that you want us to bring up, or you've got anything, you want to have a wee natter about it on Twitter in terms of what you
Comments,
think.
tweet us,
Yeah.
send us an Instagram message or whatever.
Yeah, I think again, the worrying thing for me about the things is that we're all starting to see the same thing, and that very rarely, if ever, happens with football. Right, after Saturday, because we never recorded after Saturday, we've got a few questions.
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
We'll start with by far the worst person to ever get in contact, Colin McLennan. How crap were the famous for Brady's? Liam's already said that his was average. My pie was. Do you know what? Right, the fact that Colin had a shite Brady makes my day even better.
It pissed me off a wee bit, because I was eating my Brady, as you put in the group chat.
How sensational the pie was.
For fuck's sake, man! Should have got a pie.
Right, sorry, that was usually for John. What was for tea? Saturday after the game, I didn't have anything for tea. I had 4 bags of mini cheddars in the manse with my pints that I was having. And then tonight I've had a pepperoni pizza.
And you said it was shite.
Yeah.
The
house has been a bit of turmoil this week with everybody no well. I think I'm slowly starting to get it.
Oh no, I had it for a wee while.
So I'm gonna have the Johnny Cash later on, I think.
The what?
Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I had for my dinner on Saturday, and I don't know what I'm having for my tea tonight. I'm just in from work just before we recorded this, so I don't actually know. I just dumped my stuff and came right through. So I can tell you what I had last night though. I had spaghetti and meatballs, and it was superb. Well done to Megan. She made great spaghetti and meatballs.
Well done, Megan Mack, for that. Kev Wilson, is Monty already shown himself to be Maloney 2.0, determined to play a style of football he doesn't have the players for and won't change regardless of how bad the results performances are? I hope he turns it around, of course, but we've just barely scraped past a team sitting 8th in League 2 on top of being on a poor run in the league. The cup's a difficult one.
Yeah, it's Clippers Cup final, isn't it?
That is very much
I don't think managers can be based off of cup games, to be honest.
That is very much scalp them. But if you can't, just get past them. That's all.
I think it's just as, it's going to sound mental, but it's just as difficult to go there as it would be to go to Ibrox or Parkhead in a different way, in a different kind of difficult, because that's Forfars Cup final. They're not going to get, chances are they probably won't get a team, bigger than us in the cup for a long time. It's a big chance for them to put on a show in front of their fans, in front of the town. And to be honest, I felt like they did that, because they ran us right the way to the end. And if I was a neutral, I'd probably be saying that they deserved a little bit more, maybe even to take it to extra time out of the game.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, that never transpired because I could not be fucked with extra time.
Oh, same.
Go back home. But no, yeah, like you say, it's difficult to judge them on cup games because they are so kind of hit and miss.
What about the Maloney 2.0 comment?
I can see it. I can see where he's coming from. I think he has the players to play the 4-4-2. I just don't think they're doing it for him at the moment, which is a shame. And we're just going to need to see, between now and the end of the season, what he's able to do in terms of either sticking with it and making it work, or changing it a wee bit and kind of having that courage to try something new.
Yep. Albert Street has said, without Boyle, who should be our penalty taker? Newell isn't the answer. He's missed a fair few now. I don't recall Newell actually missing many pens.
I'll tell you who it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be Christian Deutsch anyway.
No.
I mean, why not give it to Yuan? Give it
Love
to
Fish.
Get Jer's goals up a wee bit. Get it to Jer.
Yeah. Haley said, lack of atmosphere, only our drumming. It just felt like nothing we've been saying we're proud of for years. Obviously, performances on the park help, but how do we get that back?
I think there's a connect at the moment between the players, not even just players, sorry, the club and the fans.
Yeah, I do. Sitting next to, I was in section 43 last night, and it was glaring how little people joined in with Block 7, to the point where I think they just stopped.
And you got to feel sorry for Block 7 because they do try every game.
Yeah.
They're trying to get these new songs off the ground. People are moaning about it.
I thought it was obvious on Saturday as well for the position they were behind the goals. It was literally just them. And you would think with standing I mean, I don't know about you, but I was in 4 for about 12, half 12, so I was a few bits of nectar deep at that point. Usually it gets a bit boisterous on days like that. Yeah, but there was nothing.
And it's a shame because I was looking forward to a little bit of atmosphere at the game, and I'm to blame as well. I wasn't joining in, but I was too far away. But listen, I think the performances on the pitch reflect the fans, mood, the atmosphere. It's not happening on the pitch. It's not going to happen on the terraces. And fair play to Block 7. They try and get the fan base going. And at the moment, people just aren't feeling it. People aren't wanting to join in. But Block 7, keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying to bring the atmosphere as much as you can, and hopefully things will start to turn around.
Here's a good one for Harvey Scott. He said he was in France, so without including Sozi, who's the best player Hibs have ever had from France, and if you could sign one French player, who would it be?
I would say Boozy. Boozy was caviar, eh?
Yeah, Boozy.
Ian Murray's Open Goal podcast the other day, and he was waxing lyrical about Boozy.
Yeah,
it was unreal.
I don't think they've had many notable French players. Doumbé was all right, but he was for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Marc Libra was good for 6 months. In our lifetime, probably Boozy, I'd say.
Yeah, Boozy's a great wee player. Plus he was so.
Boozy was top class.
If you could pick any French player, like current French,
any French player.
I think I'd go with Varane. We need a centre half.
Nah, it needs to be.
Or would you go with Mbappe?
Yeah, KM10 for me, I think.
Does he get an overdue? I don't think so.
A good option to bring off the bench though.
Aye, impact sub.
And for John Tolmie, who was on the Big Fat Quiz of the Year, the episode 74. If you've not listened to it, go back and listen. I've rinsed a lot of them in the quizzes as to be expected. Obviously, we've got Inverness away in the next round. But what's your favourite cup away day? Not including semi-finals or finals, so just an away day. And do you know what? Right, I'll make it even thingy. The 2-2 at Tynecastle doesn't count because that's still in Edinburgh.
I wasn't even going to say that. I don't think. I think The favourite away day. Oh, it's between two, Craig. It's between two.
I bet you I can guess one of them.
Go on then.
Griffiths free kicks, one of them.
No.
Kelly away, no?
Oh, aye. Did he score a free kick that day?
Scored a hat-trick that day.
Yeah, he scored a
And-
penalty.
And
He
scored
scored-
Oh no, sorry, we got the penalty for the free kick.
Yeah. Aye, that's that day and Milkerson at Motherwell. Quarterfinals away. I mean, Mark would tell you this. Quarterfinals away in the Scottish hit completely different.
Yeah.
We love a quarterfinal, don't we?
Aye. Mine's would be a wee bit further back than yours. I want to say it was the 2003-04 season. I don't know if it was the quarters. I don't think it was. But Dundee United away. Grant
Just
Brebner,
started Scottish Cup, It's like
Grant Brebner scored a hat-trick.
legend.
We beat Dundee United 3-2, and it was the day that Craig Gordon made his debut for Hearts, and they got scalped 4-0 at Brockville of Falkirk. So it was that double-edged thing where it was coming over the tannoy about Hearts getting beat 4-0. And then obviously I think Grant Brebner scored really late to get the win. Obviously, fucking Ibrox 3-0, man, that was crazy.
I wasn't there that day.
Yeah, I wasn't at the Kilmarnock one, the Griffiths hat-trick one, I wasn't there.
Kilmarnock was incredible. The stand was shaking.
Yeah, that's a bit almost, Ibrox was like that. That was fucking wild. Like, that was just another level. But aye, that's our favourite away days. That's the questions that we put out from the...
Let us know your favourite away day, though.
Yes.
In the cup. It's got to be in the cup. And
Yeah,
not
it has to be in the cup. John's asked dinner. We've already answered that. Billy, King of the North, genuinely can't be fucked with Hibs just now. So instead, I'd like to know your TV series recommendations.
Oh.
Mine's at the minute. If you are into the sort of thing, is Kin. Kin is top tier.
I've heard that that's meant to be good, but I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, so it's Irish, sort of set in Ireland drug family, basically.
Right.
And how they navigate being heavily involved in the drug trade, and then they've got like other like bits of like family coming in and out, other bits of moving parts, having to go to someone higher up and all that. The second season of that's on the... You would need to look in a very specific place for the second season because the first season's on BBC iPlayer. The second season, you just need to go a bit digging for it without revealing where you would dig.
Don't want to know what's knocking at your door, Craig, there.
Beyond that, I've been told to start Traitors.
I tried to watch that last time when it came out, but I watched the first couple of episodes. I couldn't really get into it, but everyone's talking about it, so I might need to give it another go.
Yeah, and then I've heard about Fool Me Once on Netflix as well. It's supposed
Yeah,
to
I
be
was
pretty
going to say
good.
that when I watched that was pretty good. Have you seen it?
No, I've not seen it yet, no.
That's pretty good. Like it's quite good. A couple of twists and turns. A good accent cast as well. And then the other one I've been watching intermittently is The Boys on Amazon Prime. I think I'm on season 2. So.
Oh, tell you what, there's one thing. Just because you said Amazon, Man in the High Castle.
Oh, you were talking about that, weren't you?
Yeah, I started watching. I've done a rewatch of that. It's basically an alternative look at what would happen if the Axis had won the war. Out with that, what I would say is if you want something that's quite funny and something to have on in the background, I would definitely recommend watching the Wings challenges that Open Goal have done. I don't necessarily watch their podcasts anymore because I think the Shark's been well and truly fucking jumped with those. But the Wings challenges.
On me and Murray, it was just like the Sci-Fairy meets Murray, which was really good.
Yeah, but the Wings challenges, there's one that O'Connor and Riordan have done, and fuck me.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Outrageously good.
I watched that on my honeymoon right next to the pool. Megan kept going, what are you fucking laughing at?
Oh man,
I was like, oh, it's just Derek Riordan and Gary O'Connor. She was like, what? Who? But no, another one actually, if you're looking for a quick laugh, is Two Doors Down on BBC iPlayer. Me and Megan watched all that. That's really funny. It's got Grado in it, and the guy from Only an Excuse, and then the big boy for Taggart.
Aye, and Mary Dolphin Absey Nisbet. That's kind of filled a void with Still Game for me. It's not up there, but it's
That was
so
funny
far away.
was pretty funny.
It's not far away. Callum has asked, do you think the issues lie within the mentality of the club rather than the personnel of players and managers, or a combination of both? And Sally McEwen's followed up with that, saying maybe the mentality of some of the supporters isn't helping either. Do we really expect young lads to thrive and perform their best when fighting against a barrage of abuse and negativity?
I think that's
they're
a massive point, to be
Yeah.
honest, from Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mentality's always been a problem at this club, I think, and definitely not been helped by the supporters. Any outside noise that's happening. You know, we spoke about it. You change owners, you change manager, change the players, change what the stadium looks like, and we're getting the same result. So there's got to be a problem somewhere. The supporters are some of the supporters of a minority are, you know, piling on the abuse to the young players, and it's not fair. It's definitely not helping. But you know, to pin it all on the supporters, I think is a wee bit unfair. But definitely don't think it helps.
Yeah. NZ Hibs, what's your thoughts on the magical roundabout, which is Hibs at the moment? I think we have to give Nick a bit of time regarding his own players, but we should have an option B and C when it comes to formation to win games. 4-4-2 not
football IQ.
4-4-2 not working at present. I think we've kind of covered that earlier. Liam kind of said about he feels the way we should go is effectively a 6 and 2 8s. Football has become so complicated and overcoached and overanalyzed that you sometimes forget it's just about fucking the end goal is to put the ball in the net. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not about how many fucking expected whippages that you can get within a 45-minute spell or how many kilometres you cover. And then to round us off, we've got Connor Robson. If you look at the players that played yesterday, what biscuit would each of them be?
What biscuit would each of them be?
Yeah, what biscuit?
I think
Dylan Levitt would be a Jaffa cake, because I'm not sure what he is.
Who?
Dylan Levitt would be a Jaffa cake. Because is he a cake or is he a biscuit? Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he an attacking midfielder?
David Marshall for me is a rich tea, because you know it'll crumble at the first opportunity.
That's
a great question.
Lewis Stevenson's a digestive.
Joe Newell would be a jammy dodger, because he manages to evade all the stick that he should be getting. That's a wonderful question. I wish I'd have seen that.
Yeah, that is.
I would have had a think about it.
Ellie Yuan, do you know what I'd say? Yuan is probably like a biscuit for Harrods, just a luxury that we can't afford at times.
What, like one of the
a proper
the clear boxes?
Like an elegant Belgian chocolate type of biscuit.
Yeah, like a dark chocolate coated ginger nut, something like that.
One of these ones that's like 80 quid for a packet. If 80 quid biscuits do exist. I'd quite like to try 80 quid biscuits, actually.
Oh, they do exist, to be honest.
What else? Who else could we have? Stevenson is a digestive, as mentioned, because he's just, you can what you're getting with a digestive. You're never going to fully enjoy it, but you still go back and have it anyway.
I'm struggling to think of biscuits. Jordan Abita. Party ring.
Solid.
You don't think of it as that good until you try it, and you're like, "This is it. Should have these more often."
Aye. Will Fish at the moment is a.
Put that into the group chat. See what everyone says.
Will Fish at present, I would say, is a tea cake. Very soft and collapses under any sort of pressure. Nah, I'm only kidding.
Did you ever put a tea cake in the freezer and then left it in the freezer for a wee while? Right, I can't remember.
Can I just before you finish this, can I just say, after what we spoke about giving players abuse earlier, what I've just said about Fish, I'm taking the piss. Just so we're aware, but I am taking the piss.
I know Craig likes tea cakes. I mean, if you can't tell, but put a tea cake in the freezer, right? And like the chocolate will like harden up a wee bit, and the marshmallow becomes like squidgier and chewier, and it's mate, it's so good. You should try it.
That.
Frozen tea cake. You don't leave it there until it freezes completely. You just leave the freezer for like 10, 15 minutes.
Just let it get hard a wee bit before getting stuck.
Yeah, just let it all kind of firm up and condense a wee bit, and then it's brilliant. Honestly, you'd love it. You'd love it. I can tell you that.
On that note, we'll wrap it up for this week. We'll be back on.
Wrap it up.
Something we're awfully not good at. We will be back next week. Kelly away. If you're going to Kelly away, let us know. I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence. I don't know why.
I'm not going on Saturday because Megan and I have a child-free day for the first time in a long time, so we are going to get pished.
Love that for you. We'll be back on Monday to look over Saturday, any incomings, outgoings. If there's we won't be putting out something like off the back of something coming out. Like if the Foley deal gets announced as expected in the next couple of days, we'll sort of gather our thoughts on it and we'll see try to have a reasonable chat about what it's going to mean for us going forward. But other than that, thanks everybody for listening, liking, subscribing, retweeting, whatever. If you've got anything you want to get in contact with us, the Hibs Ramble on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, get in touch. We always want to hear from people and get involved in the patter, as the young ones say.
Absolutely. Well, cheers everyone. Take it ham and cheesy.
See you Monday.
Bye.
Let's get ready to rumble.